As November 13th, 2025 arrives, the air hints at a winter that could be truly memorable. Meteorologists are buzzing about a December that may deliver record-breaking snow, especially for the Midwest and East Coast. This isn't just wishful thinking. Major climate drivers are aligning to set the stage for a colder, snowier start to winter than we've seen in years. The setup could bring widespread snowfall, transforming cities and towns into classic winter wonderlands. In this video, we'll break down the science behind the forecast, highlight which regions are most likely to see a snowy December, and share tips for making the most of a season that could be one for the history books. Get ready. Winter is coming, and it might just be the snowiest in recent memory. To understand why December 2025 could be so snowy, we need to dig deeper into the complex web of climate forces that shape our winter weather. It's not just about a single storm or a cold front. There are global patterns at play, interacting in ways that can tip the scales toward a snowier season. This year, meteorologists are watching several key signals that, when combined, could create the perfect recipe for a winter to remember. We need to look at the big climate patterns shaping our weather. These patterns operate on a massive scale, stretching across continents and oceans, and their influence can be felt thousands of miles away from where they originate. By understanding these drivers, we can get a clearer picture of why this December might stand out from the rest. Four main players are in focus, each one a powerful force in its own right, but together, they can dramatically alter the course of winter. These are the climate patterns that meteorologists track most closely when making seasonal forecasts. First, there's a weak La Niña in the Pacific, which tends to cool ocean waters and shift weather patterns. Then, we have heavy Siberian snow cover, which acts like a giant freezer, storing cold air that can spill southward. Add to that a wobbly polar vortex, swirling high above the Arctic, and a cold North Atlantic, which can reinforce chilly conditions across the eastern U.S. The cold North Atlantic is especially important this year, as it can amplify the effects of other climate drivers, making cold snaps more intense and persistent. La Niña cools the Pacific, shifting the jet stream and often bringing colder, stormier weather to the U.S. This shift can mean more frequent and stronger winter storms, especially for the northern and eastern parts of the country. Meanwhile, deep October snow in Siberia builds a reservoir of Arctic air, primed to move south. This snowpack acts as a signal, hinting at the potential for frigid air outbreaks later in the season. The polar vortex, when disrupted, can unleash this cold air into North America, especially when the Arctic and North Atlantic oscillations turn negative. These oscillations are like switches that can open the door for Arctic air to surge south, bringing dramatic temperature drops and heavy snow. This year, all these signals are lining up, favoring a southward push of cold and a stormy pattern for the eastern U.S. The combination of these factors increases the likelihood of frequent snow events and prolonged cold spells. It's a rare convergence that could set the stage for a December packed with snow. If these patterns persist, we could see snowfall totals well above average, transforming cities and towns into winter wonderlands. Let's see how each factor plays its part, and why this December could be one for the record books. When you hear the term La Niña, you might think it always means a snowless or mild winter, but that's not the full story, especially when the La Niña is on the weaker side. The truth is, not all La Niñas are created equal, and their impacts can vary dramatically depending on their strength and timing. Strong La Niñas tend to keep the East Coast relatively mild, with less snow and more rain, often leaving cities like New York and Washington, D.C., with slushy streets and only a few wintry days. These winters can feel uneventful, with fewer big storms and more gray, chilly rain. But when La Niña is weak, like the one we're experiencing this year, the jet stream becomes much more flexible and unpredictable. This means the storm track can shift further south, allowing more cold air and moisture to collide, setting the stage for more frequent and intense winter storms across the country. Looking back at history, weak La Niña years, like the winter of 2013 to 2014, have actually brought major snow events to both the Midwest and the East Coast. Cities that usually see moderate snowfall can suddenly find themselves digging out from blizzards and record-breaking snow totals. In Washington, D.C., for example, weak La Niña winters have averaged over 22 inches of snow, well above the city's normal. That's enough to transform the city's iconic landmarks into a winter wonderland and disrupt daily life for weeks at a time. This year, meteorologists expect the current weak La Niña to shift toward a neutral pattern by January. This transition period is notorious for bringing volatile, stormy weather, as the atmosphere adjusts and new patterns emerge. It's a time when the weather can change rapidly, swinging from calm to chaotic in just a few days. The result? A dynamic setup that could deliver significant snowfall, especially in December, when the atmosphere is primed for big swings. Early season storms could catch many off guard, blanketing cities in snow before the holidays even arrive. So, don't let memories of recent mild winters lull you into a false sense of security. This year's pattern is primed for surprises, and even areas that have seen little snow in recent years could be in for a shock. The combination of a weak La Niña and other climate drivers, like Arctic air outbreaks and sudden stratospheric warming, creates a recipe for early season snow. We could see the first flakes much earlier than usual, with some regions experiencing their first significant snowfalls before winter officially begins. December could be the month that sets the tone for a truly wintry season, with the potential for memorable snowstorms and a winter that keeps everyone on their toes. October's deep snow in Siberia is more than a curiosity. It's a powerful signal for U.S. winter. That snowpack cools the air above, building a massive dome of Arctic cold. When the polar vortex weakens, this cold air can surge south, guided by the jet stream. This year's above-average Siberian snow means a ready supply of cold for U.S. storms. With cold air in place, any storm tracking across the Midwest or East Coast has the key ingredient for heavy snow. The Siberian connection is a crucial piece of the December forecast puzzle. The polar vortex isn't a storm. It's a vast, swirling mass of extremely cold air that sits high above the Earth's poles, especially the Arctic. Imagine it as a giant, invisible ring of wind, circling the polar region and acting as a barrier that keeps the coldest air trapped far to the north, away from much of the populated world. When the polar vortex is strong and stable, it acts like a fortress, locking frigid air in the Arctic and keeping milder air in the mid-latitudes. This stability means that winter weather in the US and Europe tends to be less extreme, with fewer outbreaks of bitter cold. But sometimes the vortex weakens or becomes distorted, what scientists call a wobble. When this happens, the cold air that was once locked up can spill southward, plunging into North America, Europe, or Asia. This sudden release of Arctic air is what fuels those dramatic cold snaps, deep freezes, and major snowstorms that can grip entire regions for days or even weeks. This disruption is often triggered by shifts in atmospheric patterns known as the Arctic Oscillation, AO, and the North Atlantic Oscillation, NAO. When these oscillations enter their negative phases, they can block the usual west-to-east flow of the jet stream, causing it to buckle and allowing cold air to surge southward into the U.S. Looking ahead, December 2025 is shaping up for just such a pattern. Forecast models suggest both the AO and NAO are likely to turn negative, setting the stage for a classic winter setup. Meteorologists are closely watching these signals, as they often precede some of the most memorable winter weather events. The result? A direct pipeline for Siberian cold to surge across the Arctic, funneling straight into the Midwest and East Coast of the United States. This means cities from Chicago to New York could experience sharp temperature drops and heavy snowfall, as Arctic air invades from thousands of miles away. When this cold air collides with moisture-laden storm systems, the stage is set for blizzards and significant snow events. That's why forecasters are increasingly confident that the start of this winter will be both snowy and cold, especially for the northern and eastern U.S. The polar vortex, along with the AO and NAO, are the crucial links connecting global atmospheric patterns to the weather you feel right outside your door. Understanding how these forces interact helps explain why some winters are mild, while others bring record-breaking cold and snow. This winter, all signs point to a powerful delivery of Arctic air and snow. So, as the season unfolds, keep an eye on the polar vortex and its partners. They're the hidden engines driving the winter weather that shapes our daily lives. So, where will the snow pile up? The prime corridor stretches from the upper Midwest through the Ohio Valley, Appalachians, and into the Mid-Atlantic and New England. Washington, D.C. could see up to 20 inches or more, with even higher totals west of the city. Boston and New England are in the bullseye for nor'easters, while upstate New York and the mountains could see well above average snowfall. New York City may get at least one significant snow event early in the season. Forecasts are tricky, but the overall pattern strongly favors significant snow across this broad region. The atmosphere will be volatile, with big temperature swings and active storms. Residents from the Midwest to the East Coast should be ready for a very white December. For many, a white Christmas is the dream, and this year, the odds are better than usual. Sustained cold in December means any snow that falls is likely to stick around for the holidays. The active storm track boosts the chance of a fresh snowfall right around Christmas. In cities like DC, Philadelphia, and New York, the probability of a white Christmas could double compared to normal years. With multiple snow-producing systems likely, the setup is promising for that magical holiday scene. While nothing is guaranteed, this is the best shot at a white Christmas in years. For millions, this could be the year the holiday card comes to life. Nor'easters are the giants of East Coast winter, capable of shutting down cities with feet of snow and fierce winds. December's pattern is primed for at least one major nor'easter, thanks to the clash of Arctic air and Atlantic moisture. These storms can rapidly intensify, bringing blizzard conditions, power outages, and coastal flooding. Boston, New York, and Philadelphia are all at risk, especially with a negative NAO trapping storms along the coast. Preparation is key. Stock up on essentials, have an emergency kit, and stay informed. A December nor'easter can disrupt travel and daily life. Don't be caught off guard. The threat is real, but with readiness, you can weather the storm safely. This could be a December to remember for East Coast snowstorms. A snowy December doesn't have to mean chaos. With preparation, it can be safe and even fun. Winterize your home seal drafts, service your heating, and trim overhanging branches. For your car, check tires, battery, and wipers, and keep a winter emergency kit on hand. Once you're ready, embrace the season. Sledding, skiing, snowball fights, and peaceful walks in snowy parks. These are the moments that make winter magical and memorable. By preparing now, you can enjoy the beauty and excitement of a true winter wonderland. This December could be one we talk about for years, not just for the snow, but for the memories made. Get ready to make the most of a season that's shaping up to be truly special.